Hey folks, welcome back to the village. Out here in the alley today. I don't know if you've ever watched the channel before. We made a adjustable solar panel mount back last year, probably sometime. Used the angled metal like this, slotted angle, whatever you want to call it. Mounted that, put it in the ground with some concrete. Seemed like a good idea at the time. Found out that if you've ever been in Nebraska, we get real windy in the winter time, summertime too, a lot of times. But this winter we had some times that were 67-mile-an-hour winds and some storms. So found out when you have a big solar panel up and it's adjusted for winter up like this, you get winds like that, it creates a giant sail. So in turn, the metal at where it was at, the concrete bent. Took some heavier pieces and put it on there and trying to prop it up to see if we could make it work. It didn't work. It still just wanted to sag a little bit. So it's kind of a big epic failure. So we're gonna come back today and we're gonna work on, I've got the holes dug back out. Took some of that Quikrete that was off there and break it up for aggregate. We're gonna put in the bottom of the holes. And then this time we're gonna go with the pressure treated 2x4 here. And then also a couple of these pieces of this steel concrete forming rod that I cut in half. And I'm just going to bore a hole through the 2x4 and put that through just to give it a little stability in the hole. I think it's going to help it. I think what I'll do is I'll just kind of, lock it in when the concrete's in there. So we're going to do that. Going to take and mix up, got a bag of concrete here, just basic concrete. We're just going to put in there, put it around there, mix it up, put it in the hole, and let it sit up. We'll also, when we put the pieces in there, I got a couple little boards here. We'll take and we'll screw those onto the sides of the boards, and then we'll make sure, just it'll be on the side of the board, and that'll give us a way to make sure we can get it squared up within the hole, up, not leaning back or forward to the side, so it's nice and square. I know my panel's 26.5 inches wide. We're going to try to space them about 28 inches to give us plenty of space. You can hear the dog whining inside there, sorry about that. So give us plenty of space to mount the panel and put our header on there. We'll show you how it's going to be. It'll be the same concept, just instead of using the metal angle, we're going to use the 2x4. I think it's just going to be a lot better. The pressure treated 2x4s, don't worry about them rotting or breaking or anything. I think it'll be just fine. So let's go ahead and we're going to get this aggregate put in there, and then we'll I think I'm going to put the board in there and figure out where I want to drill the hole, and we'll put this through there. I'll go get a hammer. So let me go grab the hammer real quick and we'll get started. So I put my board in the hole, and it looks like I need to come up about 5 inches where I'm going to bore that hole where I'll take this forming rod and put it through. So I got the drill bit here. I think this is a 5/8 inch spade bit. I'm not going to mark this. It doesn't have to be perfect, and we're just going to come up to about that 5 inch mark. On the ground a little bit, so that should pretty much, see, it's a little bit bigger than the hole. Had to either go smaller or bigger. Smaller is not going to work, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can take the hammer and see if we can tap this through. I don't know how good this is going to work. I don't know if it's going to work that good. I think I'm going to have to get on the other side and kind of just work this hole out a little bit. I think that might do it. Yeah, we'll just take there, see? Yeah, that's perfect. So I think by doing this, when we put it in the hole, that's going to help stabilize it, when we put the concrete in. So that way, if it does hit any winds, it's going to kind of have it stabilized a little better, I believe. So we're going to take this first. And like I said, I got this aggregate that I broke up from the concrete that was on those other ones. I'm just going to throw this in the bottom of the hole just to give it something to sit on, like that. And then we'll take this with that piece on there, and that's just going to go in here. We'll give it. I'll take our we'll take and put that, like I said, I'm going to take in that little piece there. Let's go ahead and just do that. Let's put this out here. A couple screws in my pocket in a bit, and we'll take and put a couple of these. I have a bit somewhere in here. There we go. And we'll take one of these. Take this. And I'll put it back in the hole to kind of see where it's going to be. And then this will be something we're just going to put on here to be able to stabilize this, to square it. So we're just going to screw this on here. Just like that. And see, that'll give us a way we can move it around and square it once we put the concrete in. And make sure we got it, you know, plumb, straight up, not leaning backwards or forwards. Actually, looks pretty good right there, surprisingly. Yeah, that's really not that bad. I don't know how I managed that. See, it's leaning that way. So see, that way we can do that when we pour the concrete in. So I'm gonna go ahead, probably turn that a little like this. And our big thing too, like I said, is our panel. I know our panel's 26.5 inches across, so I don't want to be any less than that, but I would like to try to be closer to about 27.5 spacing in between. So I know if I go there, see, that's about right, because that would leave me, about right here. So that's about dead center of the hole. So that's kind of what I was looking for. So yeah, we'll take that other one, we'll get the aggregate in here, and we'll take the other one, I'll bore another hole in that one, and we'll put that up, and then we'll take the bucket and the concrete, I'll get some water, and we'll mix that up, and we'll get these poured in there, and get these a day. Not supposed to rain today, so we'll give them a day to cure up. They won't be 100% cured up, but they'll be big enough we can maybe work on it again tomorrow possibly. So let me get some water. We'll go ahead and bore that other hole just like we did on this one, and then we're gonna get that little brace put on there, and we'll get that put in the hole, and we'll mix concrete and get these poured, get these squared up. Yeah. So you can see I got the other one done there. Kind of what it's going to look like. Again, my spacing's good. I know they're not perfectly level, but we're going to worry about mixing the concrete up first. Just going to take a bucket and mix it up with some water there and just pour it in, work it around. Yeah, and then once we get it in there and it sets a little bit, we'll get this squared up. We'll take the level, you know, and we'll go back on there and make sure that, you know, it's level every direction both ways. So like right now it's like real close, and we'll check it once we get done, and we'll use the brace to get it where we need to be, and then we'll take and pour that concrete in there, let it set for about, and then we'll check that and make sure it's all nice and square. And then as it sets up a little bit more, we'll go back and check it before it gets too set, just to make sure it's staying where we want it to be. And then once we get that, we'll come over and do this one. We'll get our measurement correct. Again, our panel's 26.5 inches long, so the minimum I want to have in between here is 27. I'd like to be more like 27.5, closer to 28, just to have plenty of space to put on my hardware and stuff that I'm going to use for the leveling part of the not leveling, the angle part of it, so I can move it back and forth, because as the season changes, you're going to want to move it like 3 or 4 times a year. So you want to make sure that the sun's coming and hitting the panel square. You know, if the panel's like this and it's hitting like this on the panel, that's not going to give you good power. But if it's hitting directly on the panel, that's going to give you the maximum amount of power. So that's why you want to be able to do that. And we'll show you once we get it all done. I have an app where you can go in there, you know, on your phone and put in the app, and you can get the angle what you need, and I'll show you. I'll have a link I'll put in there too, but I'll show you a website you can go to, and you put in your address, and it'll give you the, you know, right now, this time, what is your optimum angle, you know, 43 degrees, 53 degrees, whatever it happens to be. And then you take their angle, your app on your phone, open it up, put your phone on there, make sure you get to where you want it and adjust it, and then tighten it down. And that's going to make sure that your panel's hitting those square from the beams of light coming into it, so it gets you the maximum amount of charging power. So I'm going to go ahead and get the concrete, put in the bucket, mixed up, and we'll get this poured in here real quick. Concrete mixed up here. A little, it's not too bad. We're just going to take this and just pour that in the hole. Squared back up. Take that and move that around a little bit. I got to bring a stick out for that. I'm going to do it by hand, I think. Take and feed that around, making sure you don't really have any air pockets in there or anything. It's actually pretty good. Here, don't get it really too wet. No, it's actually pretty good. I mixed a little Quikrete in with the concrete I forgot I had, so that's going to make this set up pretty quick before it won't take as long as just the straight concrete mix that I had. So wipe the hand off over here on the grass. So take that and kind of work that around a little. Looks pretty good, actually. I think I'm good with that. So now we want to try to come back with the level now and check what we're at. And we're pretty damn close, actually. I might switch this around. I'm going to switch this around. I got it a little too tight. I think it's going to be better this way, just judging by the lean I have in it. So that right there is dead straight up and down that way. That's level there. And that's level there. So right there, we're going to leave it. Now we'll just let that set up. Before I do the next one, I'm going to let this set for a while so I don't hit it or ding it, because it's right on the money now where we want it. And that should keep it there so it sets up, and this shouldn't take too long to set. And then we'll come back out and knock that second one out. We'll give this probably a half hour or so before we come back. Then we'll knock it out. Switched up, changed my mind. Gonna go ahead and mix up the other bag, or mix up the other concrete. Gonna go ahead and get this poured. Let's sit this down over here. Get this put in here. This is a little soupier. Kind of what I wanted in the last one. Mix real well at the bottom of the bucket. It's not bad. Gonna put the rest of it on this side and work that around. try to make sure we got it all in there good and not too many air spaces or anything. I think we're pretty good. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. I'll lift my hand up here and we'll go back and check that. Yeah. Get the level back out here and we'll kind of see where we're at. Jeez, that's right on the money. I don't know how I managed that. And I'll see what we're going this way. This is barely off. Gotta come out a little. That's level there. That's level there. Press that down in there a little bit to make sure it doesn't move. It's right on. And they look pretty straight across. I am going to take a measurement just to double check where we're at, which I think we should be at about 27.5. I just don't want to dink anything here. See, I'm right about 27.5. That's really one bit. It gives me an extra inch to play with in between there. Again, my panel's 26.5 inches. So yeah, I'll do it for today though. This will be part one, I guess. We'll come back and do part 2 tomorrow. We'll give this time to set up. It's not supposed to rain. It's fairly dry out, so this should set up pretty quick and dry up. It won't be fully cured by tomorrow, but it'll be good enough we can come back and we can start working on boring our holes, and I'll show you how the panel is going to mount in there. It's funny sometimes when you look at something, it looks like it's not level. Drive myself crazy here. My old eyes aren't level, that's the problem. See, as that set up a little bit, it looks like it moved just a little. That's why I wanted to let it sit for a bit before I came back and checked it. Mosquito. It's right on there. It looks like this way it might have just a hair. Came forward just a little. That's nothing. That's gonna work. Oh, and again, this one here, since we just did this one, we'll come back here in probably about 10 minutes and I'll double check it, because you know, as that concrete sits there, you know, it kind of settles and it can move. That one's right on, but I think we're going to be good. I did have a little more concrete, but I think I'm good. I got a good get them out there. I think that's going to hold it with that rod going across it, and I think that's really going to stabilize things a lot better. This should prove to be, I think, a lot more sturdy than my last attempt there. So we'll come back tomorrow and we'll finish up. We'll mount the panel. We'll show how we're going to board this across here and mount this on here, and that'll be part 2. Welcome back out in the alley again today. I don't know if you saw this. I started this project rebuilding and making a new solar panel mount. Got my boards concreted in on the first part. Now we're going to come back and get the panel loaded up here, or hung up here. Basically going to go through here on a piece of all thread rod, cut down. It's going to go through, which now I'm looking at, this is a little bit short. That's all right. This is the one I used to make the other thing. I just looked at it. I didn't realize it was a little short. It's all right. I got another piece in there that I'll take and cut down. I forgot before I was using the angle like this, which is narrow, and now I got a 2x4, so I got 1 3/4 here versus, you know, maybe 1/8 of an inch here. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and cut that other one down. Let me measure this and see what this is. Looks like crossed, we're 30 and almost a half. So we'll cut that probably 31. They give us plenty of space. 31 would be 31. No, actually, I'm going to go 32. That'll give us plenty. I'm going to go 32 inches. Cut that other piece down, and then we'll come back out here. We're going to measure down, and we're going to bore a couple holes down about. I have to measure just to make sure what my hole is. So I want to keep it enough off the ground so it can pivot and like this, so we can adjust it to the angle for the angle of the sun. So let me go back in and grab that other one. We're going to cut it down to like 32. Actually, I'm just going to go here, and if we cut it back, I'm going to go 32 1/4, and we'll get that cut down. We'll come out and show you how we're going to hang this up. Kind of show you what we got working with today over here. If you watched the other video, if not, just going to show you real quick. We got two pressure treated 2x4s. They're 5-footers. They're about a foot in the ground, with a little concrete in there just to keep them in there. I got a piece of rod in there that's going through there to kind of steady them a little bit. And the 2x4s down at the base, they're going to just be to raise the panel up so we can put the all-thread rod through this angle. You can see that I have mounted on the back of the panel here, and that's what's going to give, that's going to go through, and that's how it's going to mount. That way it'll give us the ability, I'll show you how it's going to pivot so we can keep it hitting the sun as square as possible to get the most charge. So coming back over here, I'm going to take that panel, and what we're working with this panel, just to show you that real quick, this is a 200 watt monocrystalline new power solar panel. This is an older panel, about 20% efficient, maybe 19 to 20%, 6 bus bar. Not a bad panel, not a great panel, but I do like the fact that it puts on a nice heavy aluminum frame on it, so it gives you something good like this you can put on there. It's pre-drilled where you can mount it easily. Sturdy, this thing you can beat the crap out of. It really needs clean now. The cleaner is, the more efficient it's going to be. So we're going to take that, we're going to get that mounted up here, and then we'll show you how we're going to use an app that I have on my phone to judge the angle, so we can make sure we get the correct angle. And a website we're going to list too, where you can go and put your address in, and it will tell you the perfect angle for your panel, so you can make sure that your panel is making direct square contact with the light hitting it. The more even it hits, if it's at an angle, not good. If it's hitting directly, that's going to give you more power. We want to maximize our power. Again, this will be wired in later on in a second video. I got one of these on extensions on order with the MC4 connectors, and we're going to take and run that down and run it over in the shed, and we're going to connect to my power station. That's what we're going to use to run the shed. But for now, let's go ahead. I'm going to make a measurement down here. I'm going to put the panel up, and we're going to measure down and see where we want to bore this hole. So this, again, nice sturdy panel, heavy. Put that up here. And that we can guess. Now we can look and see where we want to be. I'm thinking that's about right, because that gives us plenty of tilt back and forward. Because like in the winter time, we're going to be like this. Summertime, we're going to be in an angle. Our sun's way down here now. So this is west, this is south. So let me go ahead. Let's see. I'm thinking I'm going to look to see where I had it before. Right here is my pivot point, and mark this. Grab my pencil over here, which is not going to work because I'm twisting that. Let's try this again. Almost done. I should have had the pencil ready. Let's see if that's going to stay there for a second. We'll see. All right. So come back here. This is our pivot point here. So we're going to go in this. So we're going to go ahead and make our bore a hole about right there. And I'm only going to mark one because we'll measure down on the other one and get where that's going to be. I'm just going to tilt this over here. Again, the bad part about having a panel out here in the breeze, it's just like having a giant sail, and that's what my last idea with the angle iron did. The wind kept blowing it and it just totally bent it over. I mean, we get 60 miles an hour wind sometimes in the winter time, which we did this year a couple times, and that's what destroyed it. So we're going to measure down on this, and it looks like we're down about 10 1/4 to that mark I just made. So I'm just going to carry it over so it's kind of center of the board. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect. We're just going to eye it up. Not the best. The mechanical pencil. Didn't feel like going back out to the garage. Come over here. We'll go down. Of course, it's where a knot is. Why would I want it anywhere else, you know? That was easy to find, right next to the knot. So, we're going to come back and bore a hole right in those two spots. Try to make sure we get it as square as possible. Center. And of course that's going to walk on me a little. There we go. One down. This one's going to be fun because it's right next to the knot. Which is not ideal, but yeah, I think it walked on me there too. Okay, so that's our hole. Let's see what we're going to do is we'll come back here now with this rod, and that should go right through there. I didn't bring my level out. It doesn't have to be perfect. These are perfectly level off the top. That's what we want. Hanging up a little on this. Go back and hit that a little bit, but that's what we want. So let's go ahead and take this out. I'm going to bore out that other hole a little bit more. That stupid knot there. Okay. Come back with this. It should be a lot better. There we go. So that's what we want. So now we're going to come back, we'll get these squared up. We're going to bring that panel back and sit it back up there. And then we'll thread this through. And this is the process that makes this a little more difficult. Again, this thing is heavy. Just want to get it in there. We'll come grab our, just wants to really walk out of there too. So we'll come back with our rod, sorry, in front of the camera. And we're going to take this rod and put it through there. Put it through that hole. Of course, it's not going to be square. See, I'm already not thinking. Forget it. I already jumped the gun. Back out. The whole process works. Is I'm going to lean this here so it doesn't fall. Of course, we're going to put that nut on the end, but we're also going to put a couple washers also on there, just so this is not sitting square up against there. And same thing on the inside. We're going to come back with a couple washers. I don't know if I'm going to need more than 2. I'm actually going to put 3 on. We might have to add another one. And now that's going to be on the outside. And then on the inside, we're going to go through here. And we're going to come back here again with some more washers. Actually, yeah, we're going to come washer. I can't remember how many you put on here. I'm going to put 3 here, just to make up that gap. And then I'm going to put a lock washer on, just so it snugs up a little better. And then I'm going to come back in with another nut. And this has got a burr on it where it was cut, so I'm going to try to line these threads up as best I can. I may have to get a file and hit that. I didn't hit it with a grinder when I took it off. Let's see. No. Yeah, I got to find I'm going to have to go get the file. I don't want to get that on there and cross thread it. So let me go grab my file. We'll come back and we'll get back on. Okay, we came back and hit that with the file, clean up that thread and get that little burr off the end there. So now you can see we have, I'm going to move you over here a little bit. Now we have that nut on there and that lock washer and the other 2 flat washers. So now that should be good. Now the fun part is, I put that too far, I don't have that much play in it. I'm going to back this up a little bit, because now what we need to do, see, I don't know if those washers, the old design I had to use multiple washers. This I don't think I'm going to, but let's see if I can get that. There we go. I don't think I need all those washers. I think the other side we won't. I think I might go back and actually take one of these inside ones off. We just don't, I had a lot more play in the other one. I'm not going to have that in this one, so we'll take this off. I'm gonna take one of those off of there. Just not necessary. I might even take two off. I'm just not gonna have that extra slack in there like I had on the other one, so I am actually gonna take two off. We'll keep the lock washer and one on there. Put the nut back on. Once you clean that thread up, I just, you take the nut, put it back on there, and it kind of trues up the threads. Yeah, it's easy for me to say as I'm struggling to put it back on. There we go. So now we'll put that back in there. There we go. So we get our panel back up here. We'll look for that hole that you can just see where it was before. So I'll get that lined up. And now what we're gonna do is just keep twisting the rod, which is gonna take a while because we want it to get, we want to work that in there and get it across. So it's got to get all the way down that piece of all thread, which I should have, what I was gonna do and I forgot, I was gonna put something on the drill and do it, but now I'm gonna do it the old fashioned way. The lighting's pretty good here. It's morning and the sun's coming up here, and it's probably a little breezy, so you're probably hearing a little bit of wind buffeting too. It's gonna be a nice summer day here today. It's gonna be about 100 day here in Nebraska. Yes, we do get hot here in the summertime, and then the wind just gets dry. It'll be 70% humidity. It's gonna be a gross day. All right, I'll pause you guys real. Okay, now we got the red. That took forever to thread over. And now I'm going back. Let me see where I got you here. I got you guys. So I got it back to the edge of the angle over here. So now you need to come back here and kind of tilt this out. I'm just gonna have to thread this slowly through. So I really have to come back up because this is sitting down. It has to come up a little bit. So it's got a little pressure on it, but we're just gonna spin this a little more. Problem is this wants to keep moving over and I don't want that over. Okay, so we're gonna come back here again, same thing as the other side. We're gonna come put a nut on it, which this has got some dicked up threads too, but should be able to get this on there. I think we'll take the wrench. Just threads are a little messed up, this is again where it got cut on the end. There we go. So again, that's going to come on here, and then we're just going to have to keep working the rod through there. Okay, and then put our washers on. And now the fun part, trying to get this up to where the hole is mounted, which is right about there. And then keep threading this while it wants to tilt. And hopefully, I believe we got it in there. Yeah. Just wants to tilt like it's supposed to. Put this wrench down. And all I'm doing is just twisting it, and it's threading through that hole over here, which I don't think it really is because this nut's not moving, so I think I'm just sitting in place. So we'll take this nut and work it in a little bit here, move it in here a little bit. I think it's just locked. It's, as I'm twisting it, it's just tightening up. I still think it's got a little pressure. There we go. That hole isn't that great because I had to clean it up a little bit because of that knot, and I think that was kind of catching it. I think I'm just going to hold this and see if I can twist it. Not the easiest thing to do. Oh, crap. See, everything keeps tightening up as I'm twisting it, so I have to go back and loosen it. And don't ask me why I put this on here. I put that on the wrong side, but it's going to stay because we're not taking this back out. Just have an extra washer floating around in there. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, we're good now. It's just tough to keep and spin it and keep the washers or the nuts from moving. I need an extra hand. I'm gonna get one handy though. Okay. Well, clear the 2x4 on this side. Okay. Alright, hang on to this. I'm going to clear those 2x4s out down below. I'm going to leave those anymore. Alright. A few metal splinters in there are good for you. So now you can see what we got here. When you get old, you don't remember stuff very well, so even your own design had to come back and remember. Basically what we have here, as you can see on the outside, just have a nut, a couple washers. Inside, same thing. Washer, lock washer, a nut, and then a nut here. And then it carries through on the side, other side, same thing. So basically, I'm gonna set you down here for a sec. How this works is I can adjust this to whatever angle I want. And to tighten it up, if it's a little loose like that, I just have an adjustable wrench. I'm going to cut in front of the camera now. I can just come through here and just take and tighten this up, or tighten this on the outside, and that's going to make this bite. Basically the same thing on both sides. You basically need two wrenches, and that's going to tighten it wherever you want it, and then you can adjust it and tighten it again. So that's basically how it works. You won't have to adjust it that much, 3 times a year maybe, but that's going to give us the ability to adjust it where we want it. Just like that. I just have to tighten it up a little bit more. I should have put, another thing I screwed up too, I should have came in here and put multiple washers here, and multiple washers I didn't. So that was a mistake too. I should have had one here. So that might come back and do it at a later date. For now, I mean, it works. This time of year, you know, it's gonna, I mean, you're gonna tighten it and you're gonna be set. And this time of year, the sun's gonna be more to the south, so we're gonna be up straighter like this than anything. And I'm gonna show you something real quick too. When you can come and adjust your angle, I'm gonna include a website you can go to and you put your address in. It's gonna give you the proper angle to have your panel to make it maximize getting the panel, hitting the rays squarely on it instead of at an angle. So, but the way to check that is, this is just an app I put on my phone, and you can just go like this and come up here and just tilt your panel and put this, lean your phone up against it, and it's going to give you the degree of, hold on, I'm blocking it, the degree of angle. I think I'm roughly around here this time of year. I think I'm about at, if I remember correctly, I think it's around 20 or 23. I have to double check again, I forgot to check, but that's going to give you the angle, and that's going to maximize those rays coming into your panel. You want to be hit as square as possible. Any type of angle to the panel is going to be less power being generated by your panel. So in turn, you know, as the sun moves throughout the season, you want to keep adjusting the panel. But I mean, every 3, maybe 4 months, just check it again. And like I said, go and type your address in. I'll put the web page in and a link, and you can just go in there, put your address in. It'll tell you exactly what the angle you need. So, you know, as it closer to winter, what naturally you're going to have to do is Now my sun's down this way south, this is west, I'm going to be up like this. But as the season progresses and it gets more times winter time, your panel is going to be, no, I take that back, I said that backwards. Summertime, you're going to be more of an angle like this because your sun's going to be more overhead. So you're going to be in this angle. Now, let's say it the correct way. So now if it's this way, the winter, the sun's going to be lower, it's going to be more on the horizon like this and further to the south, then you're going to be more upright. So that's why you want to be able to adjust your panel like this so you can get that angle. I still need to tighten this up a little bit, but that's basically how it's going to work. Kind of, this is what it looks like. Again, pressure treated 2x4s. It is a 10-footer cut into 5-foot sections. Again, I've dug holes down here probably about 15 inches deep. Put some rock aggregate in there and then put some concrete in there. Let those set up. Make sure they were good and square up and not leaning backwards, forward, in or out with the level. So again, and then we're going to come back at a later date here. I have a cable on order and we're going to show you how we're going to do this. We're going to come back, and these connectors on the back of the panel are called MC4 connectors. These are standard on anything solar. We're going to get extension cables, which we'll take, and we're going to run them down, put them in some PVC to protect them, and then we're going to run them down over to the fence, and then down along this fence line, and then they'll cut back under the fence and go back to the shed back there. We're going to bring them up in, pipe them in under the shed. I have a cord there now. We're going to eliminate that cord. And then what will happen is this will run into my power station. I'll show you. We're going to put in there for now. Later on, we're going to wire a whole system in. But for now, we're just going to put the EcoFlow Delta River Pro 2 in there, and this will connect to that. So this will keep that connected all the charged at all times. It has wake on charge in it, so you can just charge. You don't ever have to touch it, and I can manage it with a remote. Also, it's kind of neat. I'm not sponsored or not trying to sell EcoFlow, but that's how we're going to do this. So that'll be like a second part. We'll come back, we'll get that wired in, we'll get that PVC put up and buried in here. We'll show you guys. The cables are actually not a problem with the sun. They're PV coated, but it's just for like we get a lot of rodents around. I live out in the country, or old men like me with a weed eater will cut them by accident. So we put them inside PVC. That's going to keep any damage happening. So we'll cut all that pipe, we'll run that cord, and we'll show you how we're going to hook this up and hook it to the power station. So yeah, that's basically it. Just inexpensive way to do it. Just a piece of all thread rod, some nuts, and some washers. The 2x4 was the most expensive part, probably, with the wood prices. A bag of concrete that we dug in there. The aggregate I just used off of what I did before. The concrete rusted off, put that at the bottom, just give it a nice base. And then again, a piece of rod I put in there. If you watch the first part, concrete forming rod, just bored a hole and put in there. And that's just to kind of give it something to bite on and everything like that. But I think we're going to be a lot better than that angle that we used last time to do this, because these won't bend. These are going to give no matter how much wind hits it. So that's basically about it today, folks. Not that difficult, dude. Didn't take that long. Just the hardest part is let the concrete set up, getting the angle and stuff, remembering the correct way to do this. I will, like I said, list a link in there with the website you can go to and put in your address to get the proper angle. And that, I don't recall what that is. There's a bunch of just free apps you can put on your phone to measure the degree. And that way you just get it as close as possible, again, to maximize your power. And when we hook it up, we'll show you the difference too. When we get it hooked up, I'll show you when where it should be, and then we'll adjust it out of where it shouldn't be, and we'll show you the difference in the amount of power it generates. So that'll be down the road. Hopefully we get that done the next few weeks here, get that cable in and stuff, and get that put together again as time permits. Again, days like this, it's pretty hot. It's tough to get out. Try to get here early in the shade. So yeah. So if you like that and you've enjoyed watching us here on the channel and doing these projects, you want to see the second part of this, give me a thumbs up. That helps the channel and stuff. If you like what we do here and want to watch more often, you can hit the subscribe button, and then also there's a bell down there. You can click on that, and that's going to give you notifications when we upload stuff. So did a little better this year. We're loading information. This will probably be the last major project we do, maybe just some gardening stuff, everything like that, but that's probably going to be the last major thing we're going to do this year. So yeah, that's about it. This should be a lot better than the first epic fail we did out here. So again, thanks for tuning in and watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.